The question that people have to ask themselves, as I said earlier on, is if we don't go ahead now when we've clearly done so much with the vaccination programme to break the link between infection and death, if we don't go ahead now when the summer fire break is coming up, the school holidays, all the advantages that should give us in fighting the virus, then the question is, when would we go ahead, particularly given the likelihood the virus will have an extra advantage in the colder months in the autumn and the winter? I do think it's going to be a very balanced decision next week. I want to stress that this is what we're really doing today is setting out the conditions that we expect us all to be in from July the 19th. We're not taking the final decision until July the 12th. And on your question about will I personally wear a mask? I think that, as I said earlier on, it will depend on the circumstances. And I think that what we're trying to do is move from a universal government diktat to relying on people's personal responsibility. And clearly, there's a big difference between travelling on a crowded tube train and sitting late at night in a virtually empty carriage on the main railway line. So what we want to do is for people to exercise their personal responsibility, but to remember the value of face coverings, both in protecting themselves and others. But I know that Chris and Patrick want to add to that.
In terms of wearing a mask, I would wear a mask under three situations, and I would do so particularly at this point when the epidemic is clearly significant and rising. And the first is in any situation which was indoors and crowded or indoors with close proximity to other people. And that is because masks help protect other people. This is a thing we do to protect other people, as it's by far its principal aim. The second situation I do it is if I was required to, by any competent authority, I would have no hesitation about doing that, and I would consider that was a reasonable and sensible thing if they had good reasons to do that. And the third reason is if someone else was uncomfortable if I did not wear a mask, as a point of common courtesy, of course I would wear a mask. So under all those circumstances, I would do so.
I've not got much to add. I'm exactly the same in terms of mask wearing. And just a reminder, masks are most effective at preventing somebody else catching the disease from you. They have some effect to prevent you catching it as well. And the situation you're most likely to catch COVID in is indoors, crowded spaces. So that's the obvious place where mask wearing becomes an advantage.